How's it going, everyone? So today we're going to show you what to look for before you buy a BMW E46. So the E46 is very tempting these days. The E46 is a 3 Series BMW from 1999 to 2005. Kind of many different variations. In the US it was 323, 325, 328, 330i, and of course the M3. So we're just going to start with the engine. And this particular one is missing the little piece of cowling that goes above there. It holds the cabin air filter. You're going to start off by looking at a few things. You're going to look and see, is there stuff missing? Is everything there? You know, how the hoses look. Are the hoses dripping? Is there a lot of oil leaking? If the pan is skid plates off like this one is, you can slide under the car. You can look for drips. Oil leaks are very common, and these E46s will have either a M52 TU, the M54, or the California M56. The M56 is pretty rare, and that has a metal valve cover is the best way you can identify that. So on these, it's not really the maintenance records they have. Sometimes that doesn't really make any difference, to be honest with you. You're going to look at a few things. You're going to look at the oil. You're going to pull the dipstick like this. You're going to make sure there is no coolant on the dipstick. Make sure the oil is full. Take a smell of it. If it smells like gas really strong, it's probably old. The next thing you're going to do is check the coolant. When you check the coolant, you're going to look to make sure there is no oil in the coolant. Nothing's mixing. It's like that. This one's a little bit low, but there's no oil in it. And basically, you're going to try to guess for your future how you're going to be able to maintain this car. And it's kind of got to matter a little bit how whoever had it before took care of it. But you know, a lot of it's going to be you. You're going to have to be the one dealing with it. If you have some decent mechanic skills, it won't be that bad. You will need mechanic skills to deal with this car. You can't rely on the dealership or a shop to do everything for you. So other than that, if it's automatic, ask them about the transmission, when the last time the transmission fluid was changed. If they don't know, that could be a red flag. If it's never been changed, it's getting around, you know, 100 to 150,000 miles, that could be a potential problem. Make sure when you drive it and you're driving on the highway, it's not shifting up and down a lot. That's a common problem for 01 and up. That have the ZF 5HP19 transmission. Next thing I like to do, I'll get the hood up here, is look at the hood. Has the hood been replaced? Has it had the factory stickers on it? Look down here, see if all the plastic's in there correctly. Look back here at the frame rail. It's kind of hard to see on this camera. Make sure there's no kinks in the frame rail on either side, and that's going to determine whether it's been in a wreck. It doesn't really matter anymore what Carfax says. You need to look for yourself to see if it's been an accident. Moving back towards the rear of the car here, the front control arms are common to go bad on these. They're about $100 if you can do it yourself. If you can't, it's probably $600, $700, $800 to pay a shop. And you're going to be wanting to listen when you hit bumps in this thing. Is it clunking in the front when you hit bumps? When you rock the steering wheel, does it clack real loud? And you could actually push the tire back and see if it has play in it. And those are ways you check that. Moving to the rear, kind of take a look at the tires. The same way with the rear control arms, you almost need to jack it up to check the rears. You can wiggle the top of it in and out, check for wheel bearing play, listen for loud mud tire type noises. That'll give you a heads up on the status of the wheel bearings. These are a little bit common for wheel bearings going out. Not too terribly bad though. Same way in the back here. I don't think this battery's hooked up. No. Open the trunk, look where the trunk latches, make sure that's not bent up. Look at the bumper, kind of kneel down and look under the car. When you drop the car and drive, does it clunk? When you put it in reverse, does it clunk? These things have a terrible problem with the rear subframe ripping out of the frame. You almost have to jack it up to look at that. You slide under it and you look basically where the springs go, where they push against the top of the subframe. Make sure it's not getting cracks in it. Several other things here Open up this door. This one has a trim panel off. This one did have the sunroof leak problem. So the sunroof has drains up here, and the rubber drain runs from the corner of the sunroof right about here, and it runs down to the A pillar. And it's just a rubber hose that pushes on the sunroof. Well, it's real common for that to pop off. That'll cause the carpet to get wet. Also, this car had that problem, and it had the door panel problem. The door panel problem is the door panels themselves. Whenever you remove that, if you have to do the window regulator, and you don't put the moisture barrier back in, the piece of plastic that goes behind the door panel, if you don't glue it back in place, it can fill up the door pockets full of water, and it could also leak in the floor. And that goes for all 4 doors if it's a 4-door. If it's a 2-door, it could also do that. Okay, so basically what you're going to want to do, I realize how dirty this car was on the inside, you're going to want to feel the carpets and see if they're wet. This one is not, but you can see that it's been leaking from the door panel, because you can see right here where it's had a little bit of water run over. You can see where the dust is. Not much, just a little bit. It's always good to, if you have a scanner, bring it with you, scan it. If it has a check engine light, that'll tell you or give you a heads up what's going on with the car. Also check and see if it has an ABS light on the dash or any of that stuff on. That could be potential ABS controller problems, or even a speed sensor bad. Most of these cars get older. They could be had for $500 to $1,000 with something wrong with them. If you're okay fixing whatever's wrong with them, you got to spec some problems. You know, you could use the problems that you can basically verify to the seller for some leverage for getting it for cheaper. If you get the car cheap enough, it doesn't really matter what's wrong with it. You always come out ahead on it. Try to find one that's well maintained, but that can be a catch-22 also. We had some cars that were super nice body-wise, and probably the most horriblest thing we ever had to deal with engine-wise. So it's just kind of a guessing game at this point. Get it for a good price. You know, if you could do your own mechanic work, you shouldn't have a problem. But that is all for the what to look for when buying a BMW E46. So good luck, guys. And if you do buy one and have problems, watch my videos. I'm sure the video is up for it. That's it. Thanks for watching.